Welcome to the Christian Homeschool Moms podcast. I'm Demetria, your host, a veteran homeschool mom of two wonderful daughters, one college graduate and one in high school, a loving wife, songwriter, and child of the King, and I'm very happy to be your host. Mompreneurs and busy working homeschooling mamas, I'm glad you're listening. Why, you may ask? Well, because I know the juggle of balancing work and business with homeschooling, and I know it can be difficult. And that's why I invited to today's show, Brea Davis, who's a strategic performance coach for Mompreneurs. And I'm thrilled to have her with us. So let's find out a little bit more about Brea. She's a strategic performance coach, and she's a motivational speaker specializing in empowering mompreneurs to find balance, live healthy, and pursue their passion and purpose. She's a mom of two and a mompreneur with a background in strategic initiatives and business development. So she understands the unique challenges faced by moms, and she's dedicated her career to helping them achieve holistic well-being. On today's show, we're going to explore Brea's journey and the pivotal moments that led her to support mompreneurs. We're going to discuss the significant challenges of balancing self-care with homeschooling and business responsibilities. We'll talk about effective time management techniques and moving past the supermom expectation. Brea will share inspiring stories of mompreneurs finding harmony and provide tips on stress relief. So stay tuned for special discounts and ways to connect with Brea. So are you ready for some mompreneur encouragement? Then let's go ahead and dive right on in. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Christian Homeschool Moms podcast. I'm super excited to have my guest today. Her name is Brea Davis. She is a strategic performance coach, and we're going to find out more about what all of that is. She has so much to share with us, but I would love for Brea to just tell us about who you are, Brea. First of all, welcome. Thank you for being here, and just share who you are, what you do, and what things make you happy in life.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you so much for having me. First of all, I've seen a few different of your episodes, and I absolutely love them when I get a chance to actually listen in.
Oh, good.
Yes. But Brea Davis, I am born and raised in the Seattle, Washington area. So Pacific Northwest is where I reside. Have two little queens, Nova and Zuri. They're 30, through 2 and 3, 2 and 4, going on 30.
Going on 30.
Yes. But they're absolute joy. Things that make me smile, I'd say, is when we are just in our own element, traveling, going to experience different places as a family unit. That's definitely the most fun thing that I always enjoy making memories. So thank you so much again for having me.
You're so welcome. Yeah, travel is one of my favorite things. We haven't done it in a little while, so we have to get back out there.
Yes. I was just talking to my husband. I said, we got to go somewhere. The kids are asking to go on a plane. I don't know why that's a thing.
That's exciting.
Like,
maybe you go somewhere fun, like far away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so now here comes where we're going to talk more about what you do, because I know that a lot of what you offer is so helpful to mompreneurs listening to this right now. We have homeschool moms and also homeschool moms who are working part-time, some full-time. So that's all one big package that we're going to kind of unpack today, how what you do supports them. But tell me more about what it means to be a strategic performance coach.
Oh, no, that's a great question. My background is in tech, and I do non-technical roles. So I always came from something around partnerships, programs, and there was always a strategy that we had to put together in order to go to market for a product. And so I don't know if you want me to give like kind of how I shifted over to this versus what that background looks like. But over the past couple of years, there's definitely been a major shift in this industry specifically. And I've been in the industry for a little over 10 years now. And I started just to feel like a hamster on a wheel. And I knew that there was just something that God was calling me to do more. I could just be stuck in my office, especially during that pandemic time, and just kind of got comfortable with, just being in a silo. And that's not as humans, that's not what we're called to do. And so my husband and I, we started leaning into our experiences, did some praying on what our focus should be. And actually early as last year, we started a brand in a couple of different areas of that we knew where we could make impact. And that's more around history and also wellness. And after we started those organizations, I then realized that there were actually a lot of women in my network, a lot of moms that I spoke to, just, in the passing that had felt like they wanted to launch something. They weren't quite sure how to do it, or maybe they wanted to scale and they just didn't feel like they had the bandwidth. And so that's kind of how I got into coaching, because I was starting to work with them on building strategies, and then making sure that they could actually see results and putting those ideas into a strategy and putting it into an action. So that's kind of how I got started, and a little bit about my journey.
Oh, that's wonderful, Brea. So you saw the need and you jumped in and you said, let's see how we can create coaching to help women. I think mompreneurs, and specifically, we have so many specialized needs in the area of running a business or running an online business, or maybe working, or whatever the case is. But we see ourselves as entrepreneurial, but we're also raising kids, and then we have to take care of ourselves. So what, in your experience, are the most significant challenges that mompreneurs face in balancing that self-care along with our responsibilities?
Yeah, there's a few things that automatically come to mind. The first is time.
Yeah.
That time scarcity, I mean, that overlapping of your business and family duties is just, it's so significant as a challenge that I think a lot of people face, but more specifically the ones that are seeing themselves as doing more than just being mom, just being wife, just being household facilitator, so to speak.
Yes.
And then there's that mom guilt that is associated with taking that time for self-care. Sometimes when I'm speaking to a lot of the mompreneurs I'm working with, instead of working or being with their family, they feel like they have to do one or the other, and then their self is just kind of put on that back burner. Then they also face difficulties establishing boundaries and actually protecting that personal time. And that prioritization is just at an all-time low. So those are some of the significant challenges that I see. And the way that I usually like to say, you have to manage your energy levels in order to be able to experience the self-care, because if you're not managing those energy levels, you're essentially drained to even have time for that. And so, yeah, those are a few of the things that I see most common.
I'm really glad you said that about managing your energy. And I just think, I mean, that's one of the bigger hurdles we have as well. And also when you mentioned about the mommy guilt, that's huge. Especially, I think, especially in certain circles. And I've been in the homeschool realm for over a decade, almost actually 2 decades. And it's this constant sound that I hear from other homeschool moms of the weariness, the draining feeling of, when do I escape? Like we want to do this for our kids. It's a commitment, but also we can't negate the fact that we do feel some conflict and we feel like we're putting ourselves on the back burner. And so I've had to fight that feeling the entire time. And I don't want that for myself. And I know many moms don't want to feel that. You mentioned time management. So I would love to know, like, what are some techniques that you find most effective for mompreneurs to like be able to take care of ourselves, still prioritize our passions? I'm very multi-passionate. I don't want to put that on the shelf for 15 years.
No.
So how do we manage all of this?
It's interesting that you mentioned putting it on the shelf for an extended time, because I found statistics show that a lot of mothers, more specifically in the working profession or the ones that start businesses, they don't start their businesses until their kids hit around that 7-8 year old age group. And it's because usually there's a little bit more time availability, right? But I always say, like, there's no, you have to change your perspective from I can't to how can I? And that's why I really work with like the people who have the younger kids, because that's where you're really trying to figure it all out. But
Right.
I always like to talk through the Eisenhower matrix, especially now as my kids are entering into the age group where they are doing more learning and we set those time blocks aside for them. Um, my little one, she's hitting 3 in a couple months, and then my 4-year-old, she's, she's already learning a little bit, but there is that time effective management that we have to keep in mind for all of the things.
Yeah.
And so that Eisenhower matrix is really like that number one thing where I tell people you have to start somewhere. And it's not just scheduling, it's putting a piece of paper, putting a cross on there, marking what's urgent, marking what's not urgent, marking what's important and what's not important. Anything that is urgent, do that immediately, write it down on your schedule. Anything that can be scheduled. And so, for example, we have times where we're teaching, we have times where we have to go maybe to a doctor's appointment or dentist, whatever those scheduled times look like, lunch, things that are just kind of on a general basis. Those are what you would schedule. Delegate is what I like to say. Anything that doesn't require mom's magic touch.
Yeah.
If it doesn't require me to actually like use my hands or voice, whatever it is, for example, grocery shopping, I'm not required to do that. That doesn't require
Right.
my touch. I know what I need. I'll delegate that by going on Instacart and getting that automated. Same thing with cleaning. I know we all have specific cleaning requirements, but once you kind of get someone in here that is able to do exactly what you want, that takes a lot out your load. There's
Yeah.
laundry. Then those who have older kids, we need to delegate some of
They
those
can do the
household
laundry.
chores.
That is so right.
Like I don't understand. I'm a millennial and I grew up with chores. So
Yeah.
delegating that out is very important. And then there's the matrix of deleting out things that you just do not need. If it's not about the priorities or the things that need to be scheduled, just take it out of your schedule completely.
I love it.
And that is really how you're able to do that time management. And I always like to say, have it being uninterrupted. Having your cell phones here when you're trying to do some work is a complete no-no. It needs to be
Yeah.
deep work where you're actually getting things done without distractions.
I love that. I love that. So the Eisenhower matrix. So we're going to take a look at this. I might even put it on the blog post or something so we can see what
Yes.
it looks like. But that really clarifies a lot. It takes a load off of moms when we can see that we can actually manage our time and our space in life,
Yes.
wherever we happen to be in that journey with raising kids. But wherever we are, like with you, you're with the younger kids, and then you know exactly what you need to do and what you need to delegate. And so I think
Exactly.
delegation is key for many of us. I'm still working on that because oftentimes we think
You
we can
gotta
do
let go
better.
of that control. It's a control
Right.
thing.
It absolutely is a complete control thing. We think we can do it better than someone else, but
Exactly,
really we
yes.
need to teach and train our kids how to do it and other people. And for sure, I love Instacart. So Amazon
Yes.
Prime, the Amazon shopping, like I have that all the time, just because it saves me time from having to get out of the house. And
Time.
so there are tips we can use as moms to help us to manage our time effectively. But there is still the pressure of getting it all done and can we actually do it all? And we have this supermom expectation. So how do we find relief in that stress? We just talked about time management, but do you have any other tips to help us to get some stress relief through all of this?
Yeah, I think really one of the number one things that I have come to an understanding is these expectations, these time constraints, they are self-inflicted. These are things that we are doing to ourselves to make ourselves have that stress level.
Yeah.
So one, we need to pray about how we're actually going about things, asking God for the wisdom and the knowledge and understanding to be able to really digest and being able to unpack why we feel that way. But then in a more practical sense, we really have to redefine what that super mom syndrome really does mean. We can still be super mom and not feel stressed and pressed. Okay. that do it all mentality just needs to go. And it's a mental blocker that you really have to continue to kind of overcome that obstacle through your thoughts and your actions. So the first thing I would say is to embrace your imperfections, and understanding that not everything is going to be perfect or the way that you want it. You don't have to have it all together, and to embrace it with a pivot. So if something is not necessarily going the way that you had planned, and a lot of us have like very essential steps that we're
Mhm.
doing during the day, time blocks, like we're saying, but you have to learn to embrace that pivot and celebrate the small and the big wins that happen today. No, you didn't get 100% of the things done, but maybe you got 70, and that's still a good
Yeah.
win. And you
Yeah,
have to understand that. Um,
absolutely.
and then the second thing I would say is to create your support system. Some of us might not necessarily have family members that are 5 miles within us, or we might not, maybe we're single moms. There's so many different circumstances. But when you get into an environment of understanding how important a support system is, you have to go and seek it, whether that's through other mompreneur groups, whether that's through single moms groups that do. My mother did that when she was had her we're a blended family. My sisters are 20 years apart. But so she was a single mom with my first two, or her first two, and my first two sisters. And she joined other moms, and they kind of split off different responsibilities. But finding a support system is really what's going to allow to kind of help lever that stress, and being with like-minded people,
Yeah.
church groups, all of that.
Yes, yes. I love that you're reminding us that we are not an island to ourselves. We can't be isolated in this
Mhm.
journey of motherhood. We need other moms to connect with. And we don't have to do it all, because maybe within that support group are people that are willing, more than willing,
Yes,
able to help us. So maybe there's someone that can help take our kid to the co-op, and maybe there's someone else that can pitch
exactly.
in and help with recipes or something. So you never know. And you're so right that we need to have that support system. And also what you said about that we can be super mom. We just have to rewire how we
Yep,
think about what super
exactly.
mom
Yeah. I love being called Supermom. Yes, I am, but
is.
I'm not stressed to be pressed though. So like
Right.
we're not doing that.
Exactly. Exactly. I love that. Okay. So you've been coaching for a while and you have clients who have achieved great results. So I would love to hear maybe an example of one client you've had that has achieved some sort of balance.
Yeah, no. And it's so funny because as I go through these like through the months, that word balance is so controversial. And I'm like, why
Yeah,
is
it
it such a
is.
controversial word? It doesn't have to be controversial. Balance is what you make it.
Right.
But I did have a mom who was actually looking to start a business, and she had two under two. We all know how rough that is. I experienced that myself. But she wasn't quite sure how to navigate through it all. And so time and clarity was her two biggest issues. We did some mindset work just around like overcoming the mental blockers, those obstacles. And I mentioned position the people as saying, having that mindset from I can't to how can I is
Mm,
probably one of the more pivotal things that you can do when you're faced with any challenges, struggles, or even opportunities, right? So
right.
we ended up changing a little bit about her business model and what she kind of wanted to do to be able to fit her schedule, even release some responsibilities to her support systems. And it was really us working through and having an understanding of what her North Star is. I always like to say, know your mission, your vision, and your values, and ensuring that she had a process that worked for her. And once you have that, in place, you just always kind of navigate towards that each day when you're working. Like, how is this working towards my vision? Is it aligning with my values?
Mm.
And is it aligning with my mission?
Wow, which means we really have to do that mindset work and we have to
Yeah.
dig in and do the homework to figure out what is our mission and what's our goal. And that
Mhm.
takes time and commitment to really
Yes.
decide to do that work. And you're here to help mompreneurs work through that. So tell us a bit about your coaching. Like, what do you offer and how does that work and how can our listeners reach you?
Oh, yes, yes. So I have a program called the Elevation Lab, and essentially it is a 4-step framework where we really go through clarity and direction on where you want to be, where you see yourself, overcoming those mental blockers through some mindset work. And then we create that custom, I like to say playbook, because my husband's a big sports analogy fan. So
Yeah.
we would build a custom playbook strategy to really help define what that looks like and how you're going to get there. And then from there, we elevate it and we do some reflection around what's actually working within that playbook, some refining, and we expand based off of the goals and milestones that you hit throughout each area of that strategy. And so it's for moms who are looking for a business to start, or even ones who are looking to scale, but you just need someone to kind of help guide you through on what that looks like, making it that, turning that vision into a reality and putting steps in place that for someone who has been there not too long ago, to be able to work through. But I am offering complimentary strategy sessions right now. And so you can contact me anytime. We can kind of go through it for sure.
That's awesome, Brea. And what you're offering is what you are experiencing now.
Yep.
You're raising kids, you're running a business, and there's many moms listening right now that are thinking, how can I at least even start with the mindset part of it so I can get moving, because I have these passions and dreams and goals, but I also have kids and I'm also homeschooling. So how do I make this all work, or is it even possible? So you can help them work through that. And how do they get a hold of your services?
Yes, they can reach me at breadaviscoaching.com/coaching. And there you can schedule a call with me. We can go through a strategy session. You can also email me at breadavis@thrivewithbrea.com, and we can work from there.
Perfect. Okay, that is wonderful. We'll be sure to add all of this in the show notes so we have those links. But I really appreciate your being here and sharing with us what you do and how you help moms. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.